to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. We know what day it is. It's Wednesday. And you know what it's time for? It's time for Where Are They Now Wednesdays with Playing on Sports, Kent Mueller. And a reminder that you're watching the original Where Are They Now Wednesdays. Don't be fooled by the Johnny-come-latelys or some other imposter. Playing on Sports and the Missouri Sports Network are your sources for what Missouri high school talent does, not only when they're in high school, but when they get to the national stage of the NCAA. No one has more information for you than we do. And we really appreciate your attention and your loyalty tuning in every Wednesday. This is episode 25. Hey, so go to the Facebook page and hit the like button. Take a trip over to the Missouri Sports Network on YouTube and subscribe, and you'll be aware of everything that we do, both live and recorded. And we really appreciate you. Send us a message. Let us know how we're doing. Kent's email is right there at the bottom of the screen, and mine is MissouriSportsNetwork@gmail.com. Are you ready? Well, good. So we've done your homework for you. Last week, we looked at Missouri State athletes competing in women's soccer. There are 216. Yes, you heard that correct. 216 Missouri athletes competing in Division I women's soccer. We had the leaderboards right here. Wherever they are, we had them from 76 colleges and universities in 20 conferences all over the United States. This is the only place you will find this information. Kent, are you ready for episode 25?
I absolutely am ready.
All right, where are we going today?
Well, this week we turn our eyes to football, all three divisions. We will look at rushing statistics, who the leaders are among the 148 running backs who graduated from Missouri high schools. And we'll talk about where they are now. And we will have that for you right after this important message.
In the heart of Springfield on historic Walnut Street, just blocks away from the Missouri State campus, Hammons Field, Great Southern Arena, and downtown Springfield. The Walnut Street Inn features newly remodeled rooms, breakfast served daily, and a friendly, accommodating staff. The Walnut Street Inn is also a great venue for private events. Book your stay or get more information at walnutstreetinn.com or call 417-864-6346.
Imagine a bank that goes where you go, creating seamless solutions for every step in your financial journey, allowing you to manage your money the way you want to, with a banking relationship that makes every day extraordinary. Imagine a world full of possibilities, always within reach. Central Bank. We do banking better.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 290,000 participants here in Missouri who take part in high school sports or activities.
Hey, welcome back to Where Are They Now Wednesdays here on the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Brought to you by the Bank of Billings, established 1889, the oldest bank in Christian County. Kent, let's kick the tires and light the fires. Where are we going?
All right, Division I, II, and III football, the running backs. But first, a note regarding a couple of injuries we have mentioned. Last year's SEC Women's Soccer Freshman of the Year, Megan Hennenkamp, out of Liberty North, continues to be sidelined by the leg injury she incurred back in July. But there's better news for Sydney Draper out of Pembroke Hill. Sydney, now the setter at Princeton, is a returning Ivy League Freshman of the Year. She missed 1 week competition due to a leg injury, but she was back in full swing this last weekend. In 2 matches and 8 sets, in a split against UPenn, she recorded 93 assists. 11.6 assists per set will get you on any leaderboard, I can assure you that. But now to football. We are combining all of the running backs who are from Missouri, regardless of which division they compete in. We will have Division I, II, and III athletes featured today. The first one up is Brandon Hall. He's a senior running back out of North Kansas City. He plays Division II ball at Missouri Western, which is in the Mid-American Intercollegiate Athletics Association. Brandon leads all running backs with 139.25 yards per game. That also leads the Mid-America Intercollegiate Athletic Association and is third nationally in all of Division II. He has also caught 11 passes for an additional 66 yards. Brandon leads this leaderboard in yards per game, total yards rushing, and his 8.3 yards per carry is also the tops in this group. His 5 rushing touchdowns is the second most, as is his longest run from scrimmage, 67 yards. The Griffins will travel across state lines to Pittsburgh to take on the number 10 Pittsburgh State Gorillas. God, Pittsburgh State is known as the Gorillas. That's an unusual nickname.
It is indeed. But I tell you what, the atmosphere down there at Pitt State, I've had opportunities to play at Pitt State on the baseball diamond. Got to see a few football games there, and they've got that huge blown-up gorilla there on the field. It's rather intimidating, and it was always welcome to the jungle at kickoff. And of course, they were a perennial top 10 national championship power. Actually went on a recruiting trip there out of high school. And the gentleman who showed me around, there were 2 of them. They were both seniors at Pitt State that year, and one was John Roderick, the legendary coach at Webb City High School, and the other was Scott Bailey, who later went on to win 7 consecutive titles at Lamar. But they were my escorts for the weekend. But what an atmosphere there in Pittsburgh, and I'm not sure of the history of how that came about.
Well, as with many great nicknames, it goes way back. There was a student in 1920 who formed a group of students to get rowdy at their football games. He named the group the Gorillas. It was 5 years later. I assume old Harold Allier had graduated and moved on by then, that the school formally adopted the Gorilla as its official nickname. And where did the Gorilla name originally come from? Pittsburgh is in the middle of what was then a mining area. Many men had jobs bringing the ore out of the ground, which was very dirty work. By the end of the day, they were caked with black dust. Those strong and hard-working men had become respectfully known as Gorillas. So there you have it. Pittsburgh State, the only college in the nation known as the Gorillas. But now back to our football standouts. Jaden Mitchell. He's a graduate student running back out of Parkway Central in Division II, Upper Iowa University, which is in the Great Lakes Valley Conference. Jaden leads his team with 97 rushing yards per game. That is the 4th most in the Great Lakes Valley Conference. After transferring from McKendree University, Jaden ran for 462 yards last year. He has already exceeded that number this year. Those 485 yards are the 2nd most on our leaderboard and the 8th most in all of Division II. His 4 TD runs are the 2nd most on the leaderboard, and his 62-yard rush is the 4th longest so far this season in our universe. On Saturday, Jaden's 169 yards and 3 touchdowns powered Upper Iowa past Quincy University 29-27. That included his game-clinching touchdown with a minute 53 left that put them up by 9. That performance earned Jaden the Great Lakes Valley Conference Football Offensive Player of the Week honors. This week, Jaden and Upper Iowa entertain Truman State at home in Fayette, Iowa. We have Amar Johnson. He's a senior running back out of Chaminade. He plays in the FCS at South Dakota State, which is in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. If anything, Amar has been patient. Until this year, his senior year, he has been playing behind Isaiah Davis, a Joplin High product. Last spring, Isaiah was chosen by the New York Jets with the 173rd pick in the 3rd round of the NFL draft. Now he has been taking handoffs from Aaron Rodgers on Sundays. Amar was an integral part of the Jackrabbits backfield as they have won 2 consecutive FCS national titles. Their only loss this year is to Big 12 Oklahoma State. Now, as the starting running back, Amar is averaging 94 rushing yards per game. That is the 2nd most in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. Like Jaden Mitchell, Amar has 4 rushing touchdowns already this season, He is coming off an 85-yard, 1 TD effort in South Dakota State's 41-0 win over Southeastern Louisiana. Up next is a Saturday trip to Cedar Falls, Iowa, to take on Northern Iowa. So we are getting people up to date with some of the superlative performances of Missouri athletes playing on in football. But Friday nights are known as Friday Night Lights for a reason. Tell everyone what we will be doing this Friday and every Friday during the high school football season.
Well, we're 5 weeks into it, and we've got Friday Night Live. It's a live football scoreboard show. It begins right at 9:30 and goes to 11 o'clock. We talk with coaches around the state, but we cover every score in the state of Missouri. You notice there are a lot of games that are played on Thursday night. Typically, there are still about almost 150 to 200 high school football games played on Friday night, and we've got the scores as the games complete. And we'll talk about the games and about the games coming up the following week from schools across the state of Missouri.
As I work with Darren to supply you with the most scores available while you're on air, I always feel the need to stop to listen to your coach interviews, fresh comments from the coaches just after their games. Who are some of the coaches you have interviewed?
Well, I tell you, we're trying to get 6 or 8 coaches on in that 90 minutes. We've talked to coaches at Valley Catholic High School. Judd Yeager has been part of the show. We have also had Jeff Geschwinder on from Hannibal, Missouri. Liberty North's head coach, Andy Lehrman. Liberty North is the defending Class 6 state champion, and Coach Lehrman's been on a couple of times with us as well. Peyton Grubbs from Marionville. Cody Hilburn from Seneca. Nate Thomas from Kickapoo has been part of the show as well. Rockbridge, Columbia Rockbridge. We just got done today visiting with Capital City head football coach Joseph Collier. So we bring in coaches from around the state, try and give the listeners an idea of not only what's going on in Southwest Missouri, but Northwest Missouri and the St. Louis area and Southeast Missouri. So we're bringing in as many coaches as we can. And as always, we've got all the scores from around the state.
And if people want to get a preview of the Where Are They Now Wednesdays for the next 4 years, you will get it with guys' interviews of the high school coaches. Part of their discussions center on the best athletes. And those are the ones who will play on into college. And those are the ones we discuss right here. And now back to our collegiate athletes. Who has the most rushing touchdowns on our leaderboard? That would be Blake Dela Cruz. He's a senior running back out of Parkview. He plays Division II ball at Harding University, which is in the Great American Conference. Blake is on top of our leaderboard with 9 touchdowns, the second most in all of Division II. He provides the power for the 4-0 defending Division II national champions. Yes, our second defending national champion on our short leaderboard list. Such is the nature of homegrown Missouri football talent. Are they squeaking by to be 4-0? No. Their combined score is 247-10 after defeating Henderson State last Saturday, 66-0. Next up is a trip to Weatherford, Oklahoma to play Southwestern Oklahoma State this Saturday. And those 9 rushes for touchdowns, that gives Blake 41 for his career as a Bison, the third most in program history. His career 2,655 rushing yards is the 6th most in school history. Blake's numbers keep piling up just like his place in Harding football history. And Jerice Howard is a freshman running back out of Riverview Gardens. He plays for Division II Lincoln University, which is in the Mid-America Intercollegiate Athletic Association. The freshman may have only rushed 22 times this year and for only 1 touchdown, but it was for 86 yards, the longest rush from scrimmage on our leaderboard. That was a third quarter touchdown in his second collegiate game that briefly put Lincoln ahead of McKendree University. Lincoln University of Missouri takes on Lincoln University of California in Jefferson City this Saturday. We will see who covers more distance, Jerice or the opponent traveling from California. A.J. Harris is a sophomore running back out of Lutheran St. Charles. He plays a Division II Missouri S&T, which is in the Great Lakes Valley Conference. Staying with young players in college, AJ is just a sophomore, yet he leads his team with over 72 rushing yards per game. He is the Miners' workhorse as he has more than twice the number of carries as the next back. If you are near Rollo this Saturday, you can see him in action when S&T hosts Southwest Baptist on Minor Hall of Fame night. Who is a freshman leading his team in rushing? That would be Peyton Brown. He's a freshman running back out of Hillsboro. He's in the FCS series at Southeast Missouri State, which is in the Ohio Valley Conference. Peyton has been off to a fast start at SEMO. The freshman leads his team with over 51 rushing yards per game. He has 4 touchdowns and has a long of 52 yards. The Redhawks are 4-0 and travel to Charleston, Illinois this Saturday to play Eastern Illinois. Now, Guy, we've had a tournament of the week for about a month now. Who was the tournament of the week last week?
Well, that would be here in the hometown of Bolivar, Missouri. Bolivar volleyball team hosted a tournament with teams from as far away as Diamond High School, and that was a Saturday tournament. And Coach Archer, Darren got over there, got some pictures of that. We've got still an interview coming up with Kyle Smith, hopefully, to kind of give us a rundown and a playback on what went on in Liberator Gymnasium this weekend.
Well, tell us about the tournament that's coming up this week.
Well, we're switching over to softball. We're going to the Springfield Invitational Softball Tournament hosted by Hillcrest High School. They'll be playing throughout the city in Springfield. They've got several turf fields, softball fields, one at Central High School, one at Glendale High School, one at Parkview High School, one at Hillcrest. So they'll be able to get that tournament in no matter the weather. There'll be a lot of teams coming in. It's kind of about 6 or 8 years ago, they started the red and blue baseball tournament in the spring to kind of coincide with the blue and gold basketball tournament. And so they have this event is basically dealing with the softball, the Springfield softball school. So looking forward to that. We'll try and get out and get some action and visit with some coaches during the week about that tournament coming up.
Yeah, tournaments are just a great part of high school sports. And next week on Where Are They Now Wednesdays, we will focus on another group of Missouri athletes competing in the NCAA. There's so much going on, but we will sift through the names and the numbers to bring you the amazing production that Missouri talent brings to college sports.
Outstanding. Well, as always, all kinds of information, great information. And hey, when you want to know it, you just come right here. Come right here to Playing on Sports and the Missouri Sports Network and find out what folks are doing across the state at the high school and collegiate level. Certainly glad that you've tuned in. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, hey, and be here now.